knowledge, right? We all remember this video from Tai Lopez.
You know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge.
I think it's the #1 ad in the history of YouTube. He's in his garage.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here.
He's got his Lamborghini. He's got his books in his garage. It's the part that everybody always laughed at.
In fact, I'm a lot more proud of these 7 new bookshelves that I had to get installed to hold 2,000 new books that I bought.
There was so much truth to that video. It now gets watched as kind of more of a that's like an iconic commercial in the history of the internet. Recently, I was on a panel with Tai Lopez. It was at the leadership conference called the Limitless event. It was over 7,000 people there, and we were on a panel together, and we were asked to speak about charity. I never met Tai in person. I'd seen him backstage and watched him talking to people about different subjects. Could tell very quickly that he had a lot of knowledge inside of him, like just being honest. And he said something that while we were sitting there that I wanted to share because it was something that I think gets missed a lot. It was brilliant. He said, if we want the younger generation to be attracted to charity, then we have to gamify it. If we want people to do it, we have to gamify it. And so he talked about different ways to do that. I was also up there with MD Motivator. Some of you guys have seen him before. And between their videos, they've got millions and millions, tens of millions of views. And the reason why is because they've learned how to gamify giving and charity and these different things. And so I started thinking about why the $100 dinner club that we do has had such a beautiful effect. And part of it is it's kind of been gamified, or it's been made into something where you can use it as opposed to just giving money. I think the old school methods of, writing a check or just going to a banquet and, doing an auction, all these things, they're just kind of boring. It's a broken model. You don't know where the money goes. You don't see how it's given. One of the things I love about the $100 dinner club is we immediately get to see the person that's affected by it. You immediately get that feeling of feeling good because you know that you can see the person that it's affecting and it's helping. Here's kind of what he said to watch the whole thing and a little bit more about the $100 dinner club.
When I started to do social media, it's such a wild west that you all saw. I can make a lot of content, but the stuff that goes viral is the crazy stuff. So it's like Lamborghinis and women and all this. And I was like, what else will go viral that's not the crazy side? And I was like, well, there's 25 cognitive biases that drive all human behavior. You have reward, social proof, authority, availability, all these different biases. But number 1, people are driven by reward. So I said, I'm gonna make this a game show. If you watch what's the longest running things on TV, if you wanna know how to win on the internet, you just reverse engineer what worked on TV. What worked on TV the longest is news shows and game shows. So I said, I'm gonna do a game show. So I got a little $5, you put little ping pong balls in it and I was like, I'm gonna go live on FaceTime. I'm gonna have 4 nominees and I'm gonna say, all right, I'm gonna pick the winner here. And I'd have somebody spin the ball. I have a pretty woman do it, just like Vanna White on Wheel of Fortune. And then I'd say, and you have 30 seconds to pick a car or $10,000 cash. Brand new Mustang, $30,000 car. The funny thing, 80% of people pick the cash. By the way, that tells you a lot about people. Short term, I saw a video where someone was like, I'll give you $10 or 1 Bitcoin. And people were like, 10 is more than 1, I'll take $10. So 80% of people pick the $10,000. And like I said, I told them, you gotta pay it forward. One woman or one person said, I don't believe this is real. This is before, I wasn't actually doing the FaceTimes yet. But the second winner was a woman, and she's like, I don't believe this is real. You gotta prove it's real. I said, well, I'm the one giving. You're saying I gotta do something for you. So I said, okay, I'll call you. She goes, I won't give you my phone number. I said, I'll call you from your mom's FaceTime. I ended up giving the car to somebody else. A week later, she was like, no, I'll take the car. It's a lot of dopamine. It's a lot of emotion. And so I think gamifying giving gets the next generation giving. That's what you're doing.
Jimmy came up with this concept called the $100 tipping club, where we'd go to these restaurants and do these tipping dinners. And sometimes we'd do $1,000 ones.
The first week we did it, we ended up having 28 of us got together. Everyone brought $100 for the tip. And it was like the only restaurant in town that was open. This is like peak COVID, April 2020. And I remember we gave the waitress a $2,800 tip. And we posted it on Facebook. We wanted this to go viral so that it would become a movement. And I got a message from an ex-girlfriend actually the next day, and I said, I'm crying right now watching this video. That was my cousin that you gave that tip to. She goes, you don't know this, but she actually, just this week, she had to drain her entire bank account. She has a son that's deaf. She got pregnant when she was in high school, and everyone wanted her to abort the kid, but she didn't. And she's just had the hardest time, and she just had to buy him these new ear things because he's deaf. And that was a day before you guys gave her that tip. How did you know that she needed that money? And as we kept doing this tip, we did it every week for 48 weeks straight. We did the $100 dinner club. And I think week 3, we left over 10 grand, had over 100 people show up to our restaurant. And the cool part about doing stuff like this, a lot of people in this crowd, you might be thinking like, what you're doing here today, like, why are you even here? And the entire reason to be in a room like this is so that you can create rooms like that. And so that you can be around other people like Dan Fleischman, Travis Bob, Michael McHenry, some of these guys, Mike Hardle, some of these dudes that ended up coming to these $100 dinner clubs. Because the coolest part of the whole thing was when you're doing stuff like that, you attract other people that have a servant heart. And I ended up meeting some of my best friends in the world. Then you meet people like these crazy assholes, and they're like, dude, let's just everyone do $1,000. And it's like, screw it, let's do $1,000. And the next thing we know, we're leaving a $40,000 tip to this person at a Chinese restaurant out in the middle of Midvale. And, and then we did one about a month ago up at the Mussels place. We had this vendor come up. This dude sold everything he had to move to the United States to do hot dogs. And he had no idea this was happening. Andy Elliott and his entire team, all 900 of them that are running around here, showed up for the event. We all brought $1,000, and this dude, when we gave him the tip, he just can't even speak. It was so funny. He had so much cash that it was flying everywhere, all over Keaton's yard, and just the tears. And what it does, more so than the money, it's that you give people hope. That's what everyone kept saying when we were doing this during COVID. It was like every person was like, you've given us hope. You guys did one the other day for somebody got $10,000, and a lot of people attacked me online. They're like, you guys are just showing off. You're just showing these tips. And here's the cool part. When you do those kinds of things, like people can come at you on the internet, but some waitress in Kentucky just got $1,300 last night from a bunch of random strangers, and she never would have got that if we didn't do this. So I don't care the random troll that's miserable on the internet is coming at me. And I guess the reason I started with the story that I did is nobody's gonna put you in charge of doing these things. People always hit me up. This happens, by the way, over 400 of these dinners have happened. They've happened in Germany, Peru, Colombia, all over the place. And nobody's going to put you in charge of them. I'm gonna challenge everybody in this room to hold one of these dinners in the next year. To just get together. Like, you don't need me to plan this for you. Somebody was like, dude, how do I bring this to Miami? I'm like, you don't. You don't need me. You just put it on your Instagram. We're having dinner. It's $100 for the tip. Come join us. And you'll see it'll change your life because of the people that it attracts. And it'll change the life of everybody in that room because of the feeling that you get of just giving of yourself and helping other people.
When thinking about charity, I just thought that was so brilliant. What Tai said was we have to figure out a way to gamify it.